Morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. So the big thing on the table, of course, is health center visitation. And as I said on Monday, we have been planning for that based upon the state's directives from late last week. So I can tell you that we are planning to start health center, and this includes skilled nursing and assisted living, both here in Williamsville and at Gate Circle. We're planning to start health center visitation tomorrow. So we've made the necessary steps with the state of New York, and we'll be ready to go tomorrow. So I'm going to go through the letter that's going out to all family members and friends and responsible parties for the skilled nursing and assisted living residents. So I'll read from that, let everybody know what the rules are. This letter will also be placed in all of the independent resident mailboxes, both here and at Gate Circle, because I know there's a lot of independent residents who may not be direct family members, but certainly friends, and they would like to have the opportunity to visit folks, their friends, etc., in the health center as well. So the rules are this. The visitation hours are going to be Monday through Friday. And this is both for skilled nursing and assisted living, family and friends. Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. until 3:30. There'll be no more than 2 visitors at a time per resident during your visitation time. And you'll have 30 minutes per visit. So 2 visitors, 30 minutes a visit. No more than 2 residents at a time will be allowed to accept visitors. So within the time frame of between 10 and 10:30, half an hour increments, we'll have 2 separate skilled nursing residents that will be able to accept visitors, and 2 separate assisted living residents that will be able to accept visitors. All visitations are arranged through appointment by contacting either Sandy Barilari, and Sandy's number is 929-5127. Again, you don't have to remember this or write it down. You will be getting letters and information. Sandy Barilari, 929-5127, or Christine Simpson, who is the social worker in the nursing home, 929-5122, or Sharon Seacrest, who is the director of assisted living, 929-5111. So what's going to happen for folks that are visitors, friends, relatives that are coming from off campus, they will be, once they have an appointment, they'll be put on the list at the front. Once they come through the security checkpoint, they have to come to the main entrance of the community, whether it's here at Gate Circle or at Gate Circle or here in Williamsville. They're going to have to come in the main entrance and register through our kiosk computer system that many of you have seen, which all staff members and visitors and vendors, etc., have to register on. That way we can collect all the data. And that type of registration is actually mandated by the state of New York. So the New York State is mandated that we collect the data from all the visitors. So this is our easiest way to do that. So they'll come in the front entrance, the main entrance. They will register through our kiosk system. They will answer the questions. They'll get their temperature taken. They'll be printed out a sticker badge, and they have to put the badge on because they will not be allowed in the visitation area without that badge. So once they have that done, they will drive back out the main entrance, drive around towards Oxford, and be directed via signage about where to park their car and where visitation will be held. So for our assisted living residents here in Williamsville, visitation will be done in front of the front entrance of Oxford, under the portico share, the overhang there. We're setting that up. It'll be shaded, of course, and we'll set up an area for visitation to happen. For skilled nursing residents, it'll be inside our homestead courtyard, which is kind of off the side of the nursing home. We will have shaded areas, we'll have areas for visitation. People will be directed into that area. I can tell you that once you get to those visitation areas, a few things are going to happen. First, you will not be able to go inside. So I probably should have mentioned that at the beginning. There'll be no inside visitation. All visitation for skilled nursing residents, for assisted living residents, will be done outside, obviously weather permitting. Once you get to the visitation area, your loved one, your friend will be brought to you from the health center. A staff member will be there all the time monitoring their visits because we are mandated that we have social distancing, that visitors will be kept at least 8 feet away from their loved one of our residents. There will be no hugging, unfortunately, no touching. You have to maintain that social distance. We have to, by mandate, have these monitored by the state of New York, which we will. All visitors must wear a mask, and the mask must be appropriately fixed to your face, meaning, as we've talked about, it has to cover your mouth, has to cover your nose. All visitors must wear one at all times. There'll be hand hygiene stations for use. Residents also will wear a mask if tolerated for both skilled nursing and assisted living. If the resident is able to wear a mask and tolerate that mask on their face, they will have to wear one. But at the very least, the visitors will wear one. They'll maintain a distance of 8 feet. There'll be no physical contact whatsoever, and all visits have to be monitored per the guidelines from the state of New York. Visitors under 18 must have someone over the age of 18 to accompany them on their visits. So these are the guidelines, these are the rules. Again, you don't have to remember these based upon this town hall meeting. We are getting the information out. Every time there's a visitor coming, we have to give them a fact sheet. And within that fact sheet, all these rules will be clearly distributed, so we'll be ready to do that. I want to say that we're happy to provide this opportunity for folks. We know for many of you it's been a long time since you had, an interaction with your loved ones that maybe hasn't had a window in front of it. So we know this is a positive thing. The reality, though, is under the guidelines of New York State, if a skilled nursing or assisted living resident does test positive for COVID, doesn't have to be your loved one, could be any, and or staff members within the health center, there is a good possibility that we'll be shutting visitation down. So we ask you to really, we're going to continue to obviously work very, very hard so that our residents don't test positive for COVID. We ask you to really respect these rules and guidelines so that we can continue for as long as possible with this visitation. Certainly you can contact me directly if you have any questions. My email is rwallace@echa.org. Briefly, for the 1 or 2 residents in assisted living that are at Gate Circle, that visitation will happen out under the tent that's at Gate Circle. Obviously, that's a little bit easier there because there's one entrance, the visitor can register, there's only 1 or 2 assisted living residents there at this point, so we're going to really do that on an as-needed basis. I will continue to update people or folks on the visitation policy. Again, we're happy that it's starting tomorrow. For this week, we pretty much have the visitation schedule in place because there was already scheduled visitation for the window visits. If you want to inquire about visiting this week, you can certainly make those phone calls. You need to make the phone call to make an appointment to visit at least 48 hours in advance. So I want to stress that as well. So anybody listening who would like to visit their loved one, my suggestion would be to make those calls now, so that perhaps later this week, certainly into next week, we can get you scheduled for those visits. A couple other things. The rooftop units have been placed. So for those folks on the Williamsville campus, they've seen the crane in action. So it's pretty much gone as scheduled. The crane is down now. And now we're just going through the process of making sure that those units all work and making sure they have to be inspected and so on. So Chuck's in the back of the room. Chuck, how many units did we have to put up?
12.
12 very heavy, very large HVAC units. So that was quite a process. And I know some residents really enjoyed watching that. It's pretty interesting watching that crane work. Just to keep everybody in the loop, one of the challenges that we're having now, and this has kind of happened over the last 10 days or so, is, and it's a reflection of what's going on in the rest of the country, we're having a really hard time getting quick turnaround with our testing all of a sudden. Our lab is Quest. Their central lab is out of Pittsburgh, and we've gone from about a 48-hour, sometimes a little bit longer turnover with our testing for our staff members and anybody else that we test, to now a week plus, and this has just happened. So I'm just saying this to let everybody know that this is the reality that's going on in the country right now, and it's a reflection of what you're reading, what you're seeing, with cases spiking all over, and labs now being inundated and not be able to keep up. So we're actually exploring going with another lab because we need a quick turnover. We need a 48-hour, maybe an extra day here and there turnover to be able to make the decisions that we need to make and be able to give timely and accurate feedback to people that are being tested. So more to come on that, but I'm sharing that as a challenge because I think it's a good reflection that even though in New York State and Western New York we're still doing fairly well, what's happening in the rest of the country does affect us and will continue to affect us for the foreseeable future. Thanks everybody, and I'll see you on Friday.